Do you really think that feminists hate baking? Do you have an intellectual or a comprehension problem? Because if you really think that feminism means that we hate cooking, then that little brain of yours really needs a full system reboot.
At this point, cooking, baking, having a family, having children, not wanting all that is a propaganda. Okay, let's talk about it. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video is a video of a trend that is going on TikTok of group of women that are out here literally calling women that feminists, women that have intentional with their life, women that have choose not to have children, cook, claiming that cooking, women saying they don't want to cook again is a propaganda, or women saying they don't want to have children is a propaganda, or like they're just literally saying that the catalog of being a trad wife and women not wanting that it's a propaganda and that they love it. Okay, sis, you love it. I love it for you. But anyway, this has struck the entire conversation about what it is, because every Eke Market Day we're talking about this feminism, because clearly a lot of women, especially the ones in the trad wife category and everything, they still don't, they usually associate being a feminist or not wanting those things as being a feminist, when really. Anyway, guys, let's go check out people's reaction to this, and then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts. Imagine how much propaganda it took to convince women that this is oppressive.
You people are so good at rage baiting me, my god. Here again to remind you that feminism is not stopping you from baking in your kitchen. And women didn't need propaganda to become feminists. All they needed was exposure to men who financially abused them and then prevented them from divorce, beat them and then prevented them from divorce, genitally mutilated them, made marital rape legal, barred them from owning their own bank accounts, credit cards, land, property, and had them committed or lobotomized against their will. You know, people on the right, trad wives, they love to talk about how people on the left, Democrats, leftists, whomever, have a perpetual victim complex. But in reality, it's them, it's y'all. You are committed to this narrative that feminists are attacking your ability and right to be in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. No one is stopping you.
Exactly.
Imagine how much propaganda it took to convince an entire generation of women that this is oppressive. It's oppressive if you don't want to do it but are forced to because you're not allowed to do anything else. What part of that is so complicated and hard to understand for you people? It is oppressive if you don't want to do it. It is oppressive if you are forced to do it. It is oppressive if you are ostracized from society if you don't do it. It is oppressive when laws are literally built around the idea that you are incapable of doing anything else, and thus prevent you from doing those things. If what you want to do is be a stay-at-home mom, have babies, raise the babies at home, never leave the house, you are allowed to want those things. That is the freedom of choice. However, women throughout history were not awarded that choice. They were forced into those roles by men. So yes, it is freedom when women get the choice to either stay at home or leave the home, aspire to a career, not have children, or just do whatever they want to do. It's not propaganda.
Do you really think that feminists hate baking? Do you have an intellectual or a comprehension problem? Because if you really think that feminism means that we hate cooking, then that little brain of yours really needs a full system reboot. I'm a feminist and I bake, sweetheart. I am positive that I can run circles around you in the kitchen, because for me, baking and cooking for people that I love is something that I've always enjoyed. I'm excellent at it. But here's what you clearly don't get. It was never about baking or keeping house. It was about being forced to do those things with absolutely no other choice. Women couldn't vote, couldn't own property, couldn't even get a credit card without a man's permission. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't say no to their husbands. And marital rape wasn't even recognized as a crime. And when men got bored and walked out on their wives and kids, those women were left destitute, no education, no money, no freedom. Just remember this, that if you lived back then, you wouldn't be here on social media showing yourself off. You wouldn't even be allowed to have an opinion online. You wouldn't even be able to wear those pants or leggings that you're wearing. And it's not about homemaking. It's about having a choice that feminists fought for, and one that you're exercising right now while bashing the very woman who gave it to you. So maybe try doing just a touch of research on women's history and stop acting like a pick-me.
Gives you the option to do more, not just two things, which is a wife and mother, which that was usually the place. Your wife and a mother, your wife and a mother. But with feminism, there's more to it. You have more options. You are able to do more things. So I don't think the idea of, oh, well, propaganda to make you feel like, you know, baking isn't a thing, being married isn't a thing, having children isn't a thing. It's not that simple. And to explain it as such a simple thing makes it seem like it's something that's not needed, and it is very much needed. The idea of like, oh, well, we no longer need to fight for women's rights because we've achieved it. It's continuously growing. It's continuously becoming more. And if we say, oh, that's no longer needed, it could possibly revert to where it becomes needed again. Just my thoughts.
This is the alt-right pipeline. Now, while this is a more obvious example of the alt-right pipeline because it very much leans on conservative values to make its point, there are still some important things to discuss about videos like this. You have found yourself like scrolling past more of these recently and perhaps wondering if there's something that you're missing. Before you go believing conspiracy theories on the internet about propaganda that was pushed out to keep women from having children, I need you to understand no such propaganda has ever been pushed out, because the powers that be are not interested in pushing out that propaganda. No matter what angle you look at this from, the government, the capitalists, every industry that we have, nobody would ever push women toward not having children because we live in a patriarchy and we live in a capitalist society. So at no point would the government or any industries or any like shadowy corporation groups, whatever, would have pushed out this propaganda because it would not benefit them. Just to drive the point home, but they especially wouldn't be pushing out this propaganda to white women. Let's rest that case right then and there. The only people pushing out this propaganda telling us that motherhood and like staying at home with your child is oppressive have historically been our mothers and grandmothers who went through that and didn't want us making the same mistakes of depending on a man just to be left with nothing when you're no longer young and pretty. If you really think this generation has been convinced of something like that, take it up with the previous generation because they're the ones that told us and showed us this. The majority of people that I have heard describing motherhood as oppressive are mothers. There are so many regretful mom spaces online, including TikTok, Reddit, anonymous forums elsewhere, where women have come to talk about having no support, having an abusive husband that they can't leave because they relied on him after giving birth to his children, and they quit their job and now they're stuck. So these are the majority of the people describing motherhood as oppressive. When child-free women talk about not wanting to have kids, mostly because they think motherhood is hard, not oppressive, and they just don't want that for themselves. But mind you, it was oppressive at once. So you need to understand that when you don't have a choice, the choice that you do have, like that automatically becomes oppressive, at least to some people. So there will always be people that want to have kids, and that should be their choice. Just as there always have been, there will also be people who don't want kids, and that is their choice too. And it's in your best interest for them to not have kids. That makes our society a better place. There's not a bunch of unwanted children. That makes our society a better place. But people that don't have critical thinking skills, they just think that it's good when babies are born, regardless. Then they complain about poverty and crime rate, things like that too. So can't seem to put two and two together. The truth is, most of the things that are oppressive about motherhood, our society can change. And it can promote motherhood because there's a lot of women who want to be mothers that are currently not making that decision, not because they think it's oppressive, but because what's oppressive is the fact that they're not going to have a social safety net. Their career is going to take a giant hit in an economy where you need a double income household. If you live in a high cost of living area. I live in a high cost of living area, and I know so many people where both the husband and the wife have really good jobs and the wife still can't afford to quit working to support children that they want to have. Things that are oppressive about motherhood are not even the things that this lady's talking about. Conservatives really love to make like boogeymen out of liberals who are just saying there should be a choice, that all women should not be forced into having children just because some women find it rewarding and some women don't think that it's oppressive. What would be oppressive is to mandate every woman to have a child. Right now, women have a choice, and that's all that liberals want. The whole agenda. It's not an oppressive agenda. Once again, what would be oppressive is to say that this is every woman's only meaning in life. This is every woman's purpose in life, to pop out children. That's where it becomes the right-wing pipeline, because there are unfortunately plenty of alt-right natalists that don't even base their beliefs in religion or anything like that. They just literally believe that people should reproduce as much as possible, and not even on religious grounds, but just on like capitalist grounds, like Elon Musk and his mother. Their whole goal is just to like have as many children as possible. This is where I'm getting concerned, because the masses are accepting religious indoctrination without the religion. People are now, like the alt-right is literally putting its agenda out in the open. And people are like, yeah, that sounds about right. You don't even need like religion or God or an afterlife anymore to just convince people to start acting like fucking sheep. By the way, this woman is a known grifter, okay? And she, by the way, is probably the primary income earner of her household too. So stay safe out there, ladies. I love you so much.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought about this conversation again, okay? Go down in the comment section, share your thought, but please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. Love to know what you guys think. At this point, it's almost like every AK market day, we'll have to have this conversation to educate people what feminism is and what having a choice as a woman is. The fact that there are trad wife women here that believes that, oh, this is the only purpose for women to have children. For me, it's still, this is 2025, it still beats me why people can just respect that, okay, this is what you want. If this is what you want, if this is how, because like I've always talked about here on this channel, whether you like it or not, as you're young girl, we're naturally injected into it to say, look, this is what you want. You need to have the husband, the children, the backyard. There's just this picture that they've painted for us, and it's all really glamorized. And then they're talking about, oh, is it propaganda? How is this a propaganda? I saw how my mom live. I saw how my grandmother live. I saw how my auntie live. I saw how my sisters live. I'm seeing things, people's story. I'm hearing people's story. I'm seeing people living the reality of what I don't want in my life. And I decided that I don't want to do that. And then you say it's a propaganda. I don't even understand, where is the propaganda? And then as women, we're coming together to say, okay, oh, you two don't want that, I don't want that. Oh, then let's build a community together. And you guys have a problem with that? You guys have a problem with that? It's choice. If you don't see yourself as being a mother, you don't see yourself as being the breadwinner, and you're doing all the domestic work in your house, and you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And that's what a lot of these pick me and these trad wife women, they don't realize that the choice they have to say, okay, this is what they want to do is part of feminism. Feminism is what gives them that choice. Look at back then, our grandmothers and all that, they didn't have the strength to get out of an abusive relation. They can get out if they want to. They have that choice now. They can get out if they want to. They can choose to be at home and bake all day if they want to. And there's nothing wrong with baking. I personally enjoy cooking, and anybody that will tell you, and it has nothing to do with, oh, that's one of my love language. I make food for my loved ones. I love it. They love my food. So feminism doesn't stop you from doing that. Feminism doesn't stop you from having children. Feminism doesn't stop you from being married. Feminism doesn't stop you for wanting a companion. It just means that you have choice to pick what you want to do with your life and be happy with it. We see a lot of women in our lives that were married, they have children, and yet they are not happy. So why do you want that for me? So I don't understand why every day you see, and the truth is that it's women doing this, and for me that's what just ache me out, because it's a choice. Like I've said 1,000 times already, it's a choice. The fact that you can do it as a choice for yourself and kumbaya is a choice. And that's what we should celebrate. Like, okay, every woman, respect everybody's, we don't have to agree on one thing. We're not a monologue type of people. If we were, then this world would be a boring place. For me, that's my own personal opinion. And that's why I'm really fine when people have different opinions than mine on this channel. It doesn't rub me up the wrong way. It's not a bad thing. People just really need to get to that point when they realize that because we choose different paths in life, that does not mean that your part is wrong or my part is wrong. The truth is that I can justify why I choose this path, and it's my life, and just respect it. People just really need to respect people's life and what they want to do with their life, rather than try to condemn them or try to pull them to the side they are in. Where they are in, I don't want to be there. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. And the people that were on the same lane, were going to run the race together. How about that? And people just really need to know, especially women like this really needs to know. And a lot of time, people usually think that women like us that have this type of conversation that is building community like this, they usually think that we hate men, we hate having a family. We don't. We don't. And that's another thing. They usually think that feminists, they hate men. Oh, no. We don't. We're just saying that we are going to choose ourselves over and over again. We're going to be very intentional about our life and what we want to do with our life. We're going to make decisions for us. We're not going to allow society to conform us to just two things, being a baby making machine and being a wife to serve one man. We refuse to. That's it. We don't want to do that. Can you respect that and go and live your happily baby life with your white fence? Can we do that? Because I don't get it why it really bothers a lot of people. Me, it bothers, not even bothers me, like it bothers me to see that these women, they are living the dream. Then they are not in the propaganda like they said, yet they are complaining. Like, why are you trying to convince me to join you? If it's something I want, I will come and join. If it's something, we here on this side, we're having the conversation so that we can we can align with the people that thinks exactly like us. You on your own lane. Okay. Anyway, guys, go down and share your thought about this conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go ahead, feel free, share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see. And that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. This is